In a world where kindness is rare, where betrayal lurks in the hearts of those we trust most. An orphan girl thrown out of the place she called home ended up in the street. But when opportunity came knocking, she chose dignity over riches, and found a destiny greater than she ever dreamed. This is not just a story, it is a journey of betrayal, pain, resilience, and unexpected love. Find out, in this unforgettable tale of the homeless girl who chose a poor delivery man over the son of a millionaire, that will keep you on the edge till the very last second. In the great bustling city of Lagos, where wealth and poverty walk side by side, there lived a stunning young girl named Anabel. Anabel was not like the other girls you would meet. She was an orphan, raised by a well-to-do family who once promised to love her as their own. Chief Damien and his wife Lady Patricia had adopted her when she was just a baby, and she became the lucky charm in Chief Damien's household. As they interacted one day, Chief Damien said, "Sweetheart, do you know that Anabel is a bundle of blessing? Since she came into our home, my business prospered and has been moving like a speed train. Yes, honey, we are truly blessed to have her under our roof. I am also experiencing favors from all angles," she said. At first, things seemed fine. But after the birth of their biological daughter Olivia 9 months after Anabel was adopted, Lady Patricia's attitude towards her took a different turn. Though, she raised them as if they were twin sisters and treated both children as hers. But as they gradually grew into adulthood, Anabel was relegated almost to the position of a housemaid. She was always given numerous chores to do, while her sister Olivia would either be watching TV or busy with her phone. Chief Damien was not happy with what was going on and the harsh treatment pelted on Anabel. He frowned to his wife's change in behavior towards Anabel. He often confronted Lady Patricia and strongly condemned her evil thoughts and treatment against the innocent Anabel. He warned that she would reap whatever evil she sows. But in all this, Chief Damien respected and loved Anabel as their first daughter despite being adopted. He continued showing Anabel how much he loves her at any slightest given opportunity. Whenever he returns from a business trip, he would give her special gifts and often made her feel important. At that point, Chief Damien was the only reason Anabel was still part of that family. But each time he was away on business, the reverse was always the case. The rejection by Lady Patricia notwithstanding, Anabel continued doing the house chores without complaining. Anabel and her sister Olivia attended the same college, but Olivia was envious of her due to her academic performance and achievements. Olivia would always whisper to her mother Lady Patricia, lying against Anabel and how the teachers favored her. "Mama, I suspect Anabel is busy with the male teachers in our school. That's the reason she always scores highest marks. Don't worry, my daughter, I will soon take care of that." They would both smile. At school, Anabel's name rang like a sweet bell. She was always amongst the best performing students, loved by teachers and admired by many because of her brilliance. At the school award evening, Anabel won several awards while Olivia had nothing. Olivia and Lady Patricia sat together watching Anabel climb the podium severally to collect awards, and they could not help it but put up fake smiles. As they stepped outside the hall, Lady Patricia sang Anabel's praises. "Well done, my dear Anabel, you have made us so proud, again." Lady Patricia said with a fake smile, "If you continue like this, your father will soon send you abroad to study." Anabel's eyes sparkled with hope. "Thank you, Mama. I couldn't have done it without your support." She turned to Olivia, "Let's take a picture together," reaching for her hand. But Olivia pulled her hand away sharply with a frown face. "Why, Olivia? I thought we were celebrating together." Olivia muttering under breath. "Why should I celebrate you? You're just a charity case. Always showing off and trying to steal my shine." Anabel's smile faltered. She looked down, embarrassed. That day Chief Damien happily celebrated her with gifts for making the family proud. He was at the verge of sending Anabel abroad to further her education when the unexpected happened. Meanwhile, Olivia was average in everything she did. Though, she was beautiful and cared more about her outer look but could not keep up with Anabel academically. When Lady Patricia got the news that her husband would soon send Anabel to study abroad, jealousy as a slow poison began to eat deeply into her heart. She whispered to Olivia, "We must act fast. If that father of yours sponsors her studies abroad, she will be unstoppable, and you, my daughter, will be forgotten." Olivia hesitantly said, "But Mama, she's a kind person and my sister too. Why not allow her to study abroad? Make no mistake, my daughter. She is neither your sister nor your blood. Her kindness is not what will feed you when she becomes richer and more powerful than you. Do you want to be her servant in the future?" Olivia shook her head in disapproval but could not do much to stop her mother. One evening, while Chief Damien went for a business meeting abroad, Lady Patricia struck. "Thief!" she screamed, tearing Annabel's room apart, throwing her clothes and searching for who knows what. "You dared to steal my jewelry. You thief! After all we did for you. Where are you hiding my jewelry? You thief! Today you are leaving my house. You ungrateful thing! I can't live with a thief like you under the same roof." Annabel was dragged outside the house. As she cried, neighbors gathered and watched in disbelief. She cried, pleading her innocence, but Lady Patricia was hell-bent on throwing her to the streets. "I swear on my mother's grave, I did not steal anything. Mama, you raised me and you know that I have never stolen in my life. I don't even know what you're looking for." Lady Patricia fumed. "I don't want you in my house anymore. Get out of my sight, you ungrateful child." Lady Patricia had carefully planted a missing gold necklace inside Annabel's cloth, just to label her a thief, and her evil plot worked perfectly well. Concerned neighbors were unhappy and surprised to see Annabel being treated like a criminal. But before they could protest, Lady Patricia had already invited the estate security, who escorted Annabel out of the compound as she continued to cry. She only managed to grab a sack bag containing a few of her clothes, and she cried uncontrollably and pleaded, but her plea fell on deaf ears. The gates of luxury slammed shut behind her as she left the only home she had ever known. And the streets of Lagos became her new home. That very night Annabel had nowhere to go. In the darkness of the night, she wandered under a heavy rain without a place to call home. A few hours later, after being bathed in the rain, Annabel finally found shelter in an abandoned uncompleted building where rodents were her only companions. As she shivers in a coiled position in one corner of the uncompleted house, she cried, "Is this what my life has become? What crime did I commit, being better academically? God, where are you?" She cried. She whispered to herself, "Mother, wherever you are, please don't let me die like this." The next morning, as hunger gnawed at her belly, she tried to beg on the street. But Lagos, widely known as the city where only the fittest survived, was not so kind to her. People walked past her like she was invisible. Some even threw insults at her, but she hopelessly sat by the roadside expecting a divine miracle. Chief Damien returned from his trip 2 weeks later and did not see Annabel anywhere in the house. "Where's Annabel?" he asked his wife. Lady Patricia, with fake crocodile tears, sobbed, "She betrayed us, my husband. She stole from us. I had no choice but to send her away." "You did what? You send our daughter away without me knowing?" he angrily questioned. Chief Damien, sensing a foul play, demanded to know the exact crime Annabel had committed that would warrant his wife sending her out of the house without waiting for his return. While interrogating his wife, he noticed her body language from her darting guilty eyes. He said calmly, but firmly, "If you do not find Annabel and bring her back, peace will run away from this house. It is a promise." Fear gripped Lady Patricia, but it was too late. She searched everywhere, but Annabel had disappeared into the darkness of Lagos. Meanwhile, at a busy Lagos urban city road, Annabel begged while washing car windows at the traffic jam. In her soft voice she would ask the drivers, "Please sir, just a little for food." "Why?" she asked. A harsh voice barked at her. "Get away from my car, you dirty thing." Another tossed coins at her, hitting her chest painfully. "Get away from my car, you lazy girl, go find a job," he shouted. Annabel would sit by the roadside crying and wiping away silent tears. Days turned into weeks. Her once sparkling beauty now became hidden beneath layers of dirt, torn clothes, and empty stomach. One fateful afternoon, under the scorching Lego sun, a shiny black SUV screeched to a stop near her begging spot. The door opened, out came down a wealthy-looking woman wearing gold jewelry from head to toe. She smiled warmly at Anabel, and further walked across up to her and said, "Young girl, what are you doing here? What happened to you? You are too young and beautiful to be on the street," she said. "I have nowhere to go, Ma." The woman shook her head and smiled warmly. "I am Madame Juliet, popularly called Madame J. What is your name, sweetheart?" "Ma, my name is Anabel." With tears in her eyes, Anabel told her story, from her adoption to her cruel betrayal. Madame J felt her pains and immediately she asked Anabel to come with her. "Come with me, my child. Your suffering ends today. I will change your life for good." Hope rekindled in Anabel's heart. She hopped into Madame J's car and she drove off. Their first stop was a grand boutique in an upmarket area of the city. Beautiful dresses, shiny shoes, glittering accessories were bought for her. She was dressed up looking stunning in her new outfit. Next was a luxury salon where the stylists worked magic on her hair and face. When Anabel looked into the mirror after the makeover, she almost fainted. She looked so gorgeous and elegant that she whispered to herself, "Is this really me or am I dreaming?" Madame J smiled. "No, you are definitely not dreaming. You are damn beautiful, my dear. Welcome to your new life," she said. "Oh. Thank you so much, Ma. You are indeed God-sent." Madame J chuckles softly. "In this life, my dear, nothing goes for nothing." Anabel's smile fades slightly but she brushed it off and refused to read meaning into it. Afterward, they drove straight home. Anabel was blown away when she saw Madame J's mansion in one of the city's most expensive housing estates reserved for the wealthy class. Anabel could not believe her eyes and her body language said it all. She could not stop talking to Madame J about how beautiful and huge her house was. "Madame J, your house is so big and beautiful. Do you live in this big house alone?" she asked. "Not really, my dear. My workers live here with me. You will meet them soon." Anabel was later shown her own room, bigger than her entire adopted family's house, and she could not believe her eyes. "My God, is this my room?" she asked, holding her chest in amazement. That night, she danced around the bed, tears of joy flooding her cheeks. "So God has finally remembered me. What God cannot do does not exist," she said, and joyfully danced. She felt that her dreams had finally come alive. For weeks Anabel enjoyed luxury, but her happiness was short-lived as she began to sense that Madame J's fortune might be linked to dubious activities. She noticed that inside the mansion were other young and beautiful girls who claimed to be working for Madame J. Out of curiosity, one day Anabel, while chatting with one of the girls, asked her in a very low voice, "Sister, what exactly do you girls do here? Which of Madame J's company do you work at?" She smiled and whispered to Anabel's ear, "We satisfy rich men and they pay Madame J. I personally came from a very poor family who could not afford my secondary education. Madame J took care of my secondary education and supported my parents financially. Since then I have been working here in order to pay her back." Anabel's heart left her body for a moment and she kept quiet. She later whispered to herself while sitting alone in the living room, "I hope Madame J is not planning to ask me to join these girls, because that will be over my dead body," she vowed. A few weeks later, Madame J said to Anabel while they were walking around the compound, "My dear, it's time you start working." Excited, Anabel replied, "Yes, Ma. I am ready. What job will I be doing?" Madame J only smiled slyly and said, "You'll meet a rich chief tonight. You will make him happy and he will take good care of you. Chief Benson is a generous client. Be good to him, he likes them young and fresh. Now go inside, freshen up and change into something more appealing." After changing into more revealing outfit, she asked, "What exactly will I be doing for Chief Benson, Ma?" Madame J avoided eye contact with her and said, "You ask too many questions. Don't worry, just obey. Don't tell me you are still a baby, are you?" When you are with Chief, do whatever he asked and make him happy. Simple. A few moments later, Anabel was asked to meet Chief, who was waiting in his car outside. At that point, Anabel refused to meet with Chief Benson as instructed. She cried and pleaded with Madam J, but when she looked away, Anabel spoke confidently without fear. "I can never sell my body for money. I will never do it. I am sorry." Madam J's face darkened. "Are you better than all the girls who work for me? You ungrateful fellow. Is this how you will repay my kindness to you?" Anabel, horrified, "No, Ma. I am not better than them, but I would rather die a beggar than do what you ask of me." Madam J angrily responded, "Then get ready to go back to the gutters where you belong." "Ma, I would rather sleep under the bridge than sell my body. I made a vow to God that only my husband will see my nakedness, and I am not ready to change that, not now, not ever." That statement angered Madam J the more. "You ungrateful witch. I should have left you on the streets where you came from." She threw Anabel out that night in the cold with nothing but the clothes she put on. Anabel finally returned to the streets again. She looked dejected, but she was not broken. She walked away with her dignity intact, a feat that demands so much courage and self-will to achieve. The following morning she was back to her usual begging spot. That evening, a young man named Charles, who worked as a delivery guy, saw her sitting by the corner looking sad and hungry. He had just finished a food delivery, but when he saw her sad face, he couldn't walk away. He approached her. "Hey, sister, are you okay?" Anabel nodded, signaling she was okay. While still on his bike, he reached into his pocket and gave her the little money he had. "Take this and get food for yourself." Anabel was grateful. "Thank you and God bless you." The next day he visited Anabel with food. Charles, smiling, "I bought you rice and chicken. It tastes really good." Anabel, deeply moved, Why are you helping me? You barely know me." Charles shrugs, "Because you deserve better. Everyone deserves a good life." The following day he returned once again, this time with food and new clothes. Every day after work, he would check on her, bringing food and any other thing he could. One evening, as they were together, Anabel told him her story. Charles said quietly, "I'm just a poor delivery guy. I don't have much. But I promise to help you the little way I can. I will be looking out for job vacancies for you. But will you accept job offers if I find any?" "Yes, with all pleasure I will. Thank you for your kindness and concern. God will reward you." True to his word, when a cleaning job opened at the restaurant where he worked as a delivery man, he quickly recommended Anabel. The restaurant manager was reluctant to hire Anabel. "She looks rough, can she be trusted?" he lamented. Charles pleaded, "Please sir, she is hard-working. Just give her a chance. She has good behavior too." The manager grumbles but finally agrees. "Charles the First will employ her only because you recommended her otherwise." Charles interrupted, "Thank you sir. God bless you." They were both filled with joy. Anabel gradually became very close to Charles, who became the only friend she had. She was diligent and hard-working. She scrubbed floors, washed dishes, cleaned tables, with a cheerful heart. The manager was impressed with her commitment, and within a short period of time, Anabel was promoted as a waitress with higher salary. She worked extremely hard even as a waitress. Always cheerful, smiling warmly, and served with grace. Her diligence earned her so much love and respect by the restaurant management and patrons alike. From her little savings she managed to pay for a modest room, and that's how she had a decent roof over her head in a while. She gradually got her groove back, her hidden beauty reappeared, and she began to glow. She was happy for her little achievement, and she was grateful to Charles who made it possible. As she sat on her bed she reflected over her journey thus far and whispered to herself, that for truth, there is dignity in labor. One day, an old ragged beggar came to the restaurant, and ordered food but couldn't pay the full amount. The manager angrily barked, "If you can't pay, wash plates or leave without eating." The old man pleaded, "I'm too weak. I have arthritis, please, I can't. Please have mercy." Hearing the commotion, Annabel ran to them and pleaded on the old man's behalf, "Please, let him have the food and deduct the cost from my salary." The manager grumbled but agreed. As the food was handed to him by Annabel, the old man smiled weakly at her kindness and softly said, "The gods will bless you, my daughter." From that day, each time the old man comes, Annabel would make sure he had a meal and extra food to go home with. Unknown to her, destiny was watching. Weeks later, a wealthy old man dressed in elegant traditional attire entered the restaurant with a smile. He sat, ordered a feast and was cheerfully served by Annabel as always. After eating, the man spoke to Annabel and asked, "My daughter," he smiled, "are you married?" She blushed and shook her head. "And why do you ask, sir?" "Well, I have a son who just returned from abroad and is searching for a good wife." "Would you marry my son?" "My guts tells me you would make a good wife." Annabel smiled shyly. "I'm honored, sir, but I already love someone." "Who, if I may ask?" "His name is Charles. He works here as a delivery man. He may not be rich, but he has a good heart." The old man smiled warmly. "Do you think he loves you as much as you love him?" "Yes, we love and respect each other a lot." "That sounds interesting, but is he capable of taking very good care of you with a job as a delivery man?" "Sir, I am an independent and a hard-working lady. I don't believe it is the sole responsibility of a man to take care of a relationship. I am content with whatever support he gives." "You are rare, my child, very rare. I respect your choice, but can you permit me to introduce you to my son, just for formality's sake?" "That won't be a problem, sir, provided boundaries are maintained and respected," she responded. When Annabel later narrated the incident to Charles, he sadly said, "Maybe you should have said yes. I have nothing to offer you, you should have accepted. You deserve better than what I can give you." But Annabel replied with disappointment all over her face, "I would rather be poor with you than rich with a stranger. You gave me hope when I had nothing. That is worth more than gold. Do you really love me, Charles? Or are you with me out of pity?" she sadly asked. "I love you, of course, Annabel. More than you think, but you are too good to suffer in a relationship. I truly care for your happiness, don't misunderstand me," he added. The next few days, the old rich man returned. And this time, he looked deeply into Annabel's eyes and said, "I learned you are a sweet soul who goes all out to help others. The old beggar you often give food, is he related to you?" "Not in any way, sir. I am an orphan and have had my own fair share of the street life, surviving only on food given to me by others. I just feel fulfilled when I do the same to others if I get the opportunity. If you see that old man elsewhere, would you recognize him?" She smiled. "Why not, sir, I would recognize him." "Okay, when last did you see him?" "He was here last week." "I hope he's fine." The man laughed loudly. "My daughter, do you recognize me?" Annabel, with confusion on her face, nodded. "Yes, sir. You are the rich man who asked me to marry his son." "My child, I am, but I am the poor old beggar you always give food." "It is not possible, sir. You are rich and look different from him." "No, my daughter, I am the poor old beggar you fed, the same poor old man you have countlessly shown kindness to. I own this restaurant, and many more. But none of the workers here know me personally. I disguised myself to see people's true hearts. And you, Annabel, you have a golden heart." He laughed heartily, while Annabel gasps, hand over mouth, as she couldn't believe what she heard. "Come, my daughter, it's time you meet my son." They stepped outside, and surprisingly an elegant-looking young man, well-dressed, standing beside a sleek white SUV, smiling warmly, was Charles, the delivery guy. "Charles, you?" she shouted, pointing at him. Charles, smiling warmly, "I had to know if you loved me for who I am, and not my father's wealth or his imaginary rich son." Charles's father chuckled. "And you, my daughter Annabel, you passed the greatest test of all, the test of the heart." She gasped and turned to Charles once again. "So you are the rich man's son. Why did you lie and deceive me, Charles?" Charles sincerely apologized to Annabel for hiding his identity from her. He explained his ugly past experiences with women who either came to his life for his wealth or because of his social status. I had to be sure you love me for who I am, not for what I have. He also cleared the air further that none of the staff at the restaurant knew him or his father before that day. Anabel accepted his apologies, and before she could alter another word, Charles held her hand and went down on one knee. Anabel, my angel, I have seen many beautiful women but none with a heart of gold and dignity you portray. Will you marry me and make me the happiest man? The whole restaurant staff burst into applause. They cheered and chanted, say yes, say yes. Tears of joy ran down Annabel's cheeks as she said, yes, 1,000 times yes. I will marry you, Charles. That day, Annabel's story changed forever. From the street. From betrayal. From rags. And from tears. Meanwhile, Chief Damien had been restless as he continued living unhappily, not knowing where Anabel, his daughter, was. He became depressed after searching for her without any positive results. And truly, his words came to pass. Lady Patricia and Olivia never knew peace again. Every good thing that happened to Chief Damien's home after they adopted Anabel suddenly crumbled. They lost everything, their wealth, their happiness, all because of jealousy and wickedness. But Anabel became the beloved wife of a millionaire's son, not because of wealth, but because of a heart full of dignity, humility, and true love. She lived happily, loved deeply, and ruled her world with grace and honor. Their wedding was the event of the year. And Anabel made sure her father, Chief Damien, received her bride price. Humbled and ashamed, Lady Patricia and Olivia approached Anabel at the wedding. They both knelt down. Forgive us, my daughter. I was blind and foolish. Anabel smiled gently. I have no room for bitterness. I forgave both of you long ago. Please get up. She stretched her hand and helped to get up. It was during the marriage introduction that Chief Damien met Charles' father, the man who brought him to limelight before they lost contacts many years ago. That was how Chief Damien reconnected to his source and his business bounced back, clearly showing that Chief Damien's success and riches were divinely tied to Anabel's existence. The gods had indeed blessed Anabel, not with riches first, but with dignity, love, good heart, and destiny. From this story we learnt that true beauty lies not in riches but in the heart. And that goodness and patience will always bring divine rewards. In a world quick to measure worth by gold and status, Anabel's story reminds us that true wealth is not found in pockets, but in the heart. She was cast aside, humiliated, and rejected. Yet she held on to her dignity. And in the end, dignity crowned her with a love that riches could never buy. Dear viewers, what would you choose when faced with betrayal, temptation, and hardship? If Anabel's story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring African tales. Until next time, stay strong, stay kind, and never lose your dignity. Thanks for watching. Remain blessed.